Welcome to the Global Skill Development Council, your gateway to digital transformation. We are an independent, vendor-neutral ISO IEC 1024 accredited certification body committed to helping individuals and organizations stay future-ready in a rapidly evolving world. GSDC is accredited by the Accreditation Board for International Certification Bodies, ABICB. For 10 years, we've certified more than 100,000 professionals across Europe, North America, Asia, and Africa, with our offices in Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore. Our programs are recognized by leading publications and podcasts, including Forbes, Tech Target, People Managing People. We offer 100-plus globally accredited certifications across emerging and in-demand domains like generative AI and emerging technologies, HR and learning and development, project management and agile Scrum, ISO and quality management, information security. Each GSDC certification is designed to empower professionals with confidence and help organizations stay competitive in a fast-changing landscape. Every certification is crafted with insights from 100-plus global advisory board members representing top universities and leading industry experts. Our certified professionals are trusted by 500-plus multinational companies, which help unlock better roles, faster promotions, and delivering cutting-edge expertise. We partner with 100-plus authorized training partners and 50-plus universities, supporting talent across all career levels, from entry-level to executive leadership. As a GSDC member, you gain lifelong access to interactive webinars, hands-on workshops, SME panels, and global summits. Join a vibrant community of 25,000-plus members and be part of our global events. Check our reviews on Trustpilot. We're trusted worldwide for quality, support, and impact. Whether you're aiming higher or building tomorrow's talent, GSDC is your partner in purposeful growth and impactful leadership. Visit our website to explore our offerings. GSDC, share the best practices and learn from the best practices. Welcome to the Global Skill Development Council, your gateway to digital transformation. We are an independent, vendor-neutral ISO IEC 1024 accredited certification body committed to helping individuals and organizations stay future-ready in a rapidly evolving world. GSDC is accredited by the Accreditation Board for International Certification Bodies, ABICB. For 10 years, we've certified more than 100,000 professionals across Europe, North America, Asia, and Africa, with our offices in Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore. Our programs are recognized by leading publications and podcasts, including Forbes, Tech Target, People Managing People. We offer 100-plus globally accredited certifications across emerging and in-demand domains like generative AI and emerging technologies, HR and learning and development, project management and agile Scrum, ISO and quality management, information security. Each GSDC certification is designed to empower professionals with confidence and help organizations stay competitive in a fast-changing landscape. Every certification is crafted with insights from 100-plus global advisory board members representing top universities and leading industry experts. Our certified professionals are trusted by 500-plus multinational companies, which help unlock better roles, faster promotions, and delivering cutting-edge expertise. We partner with 100-plus authorized training partners and 50-plus universities, supporting talent across all career levels, from entry-level to executive leadership. As a GSDC member, you gain lifelong access to interactive webinars, hands-on work.
Hello everyone, my name is Pratibha and I'll be your moderator today. So if at any point you have any question or if you would like to know more regarding the GSDC initiative, please feel free to use the chat box. Once again, a very warm welcome back to all of you in one more impactful session of Learning and Development webinar. So I hope you're all ready for that. Just allow me a minute to share my screen. Meanwhile, please do let us know from where you guys are watching. We would be happy to know that. So, on behalf of the Global Skill Development Council, I'm truly delighted to welcome you all in GSDC Certified Learning and Development Webinar Series, Learning That Works, Turning Skills, Strategies, and Talent into Business Values. turning skills, strategies, and talent into measurable business impact. And one of the things which make this webinar so interesting is the amazing expert panel we have lined up for you. Some of them have already delivered a very incredible and insightful sessions, and others are all set to bring in more powerful ideas. So, for those who have joined with us for the very first time, let me give you a quick introduction who we are. Global Skill Development Council is a globally recognized certification body. We are accredited by ABICB. Till yet, we have a 250,000 professional certified with us. We are partnered with 100 plus training providers, 1,000 plus multinational companies, and 50 plus universities worldwide. We also have 500 plus subject matter experts with us across globe who help us developing our program. So these are the training partners who are associated with us from the Asia, Africa, Canada, Australia, Nigeria, Singapore, and many other regions. So special thanks to all training partners to be associating with us. And a very special thank you to our media partner, WordPress Hub, for covering all of our press releases and event releases. So, before starting the session, I just wanted to make a quick announcement that we have launched a very unique platform called GSDC AI Studio, Lifelong Learning Initiative. In GSDC AI Studio, you're going to get 100 plus live monthly sessions with global experts, including 4 daily sessions, 45-minute live expert lead session for hands-on learning, sessions from global expert. Now you can learn directly from our AI leaders around the world. Real-time practice. You can apply concept immediately and get your question answered. Certification ready. You will be getting the training aligned with industry standard for job ready skills. So currently we are covering 100+ certification in our portfolio, including learning and development. I really apologize. I apologize for that. I'm just a little bit under the weather, so my throat is acting up, and I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. So I was telling you guys that currently we are covering 100 plus certification in our portfolio, including learning and development, HR, Gen AI, agentic AI, emerging technologies, ISO lead auditor and implementer, project management and PMO, agile DevOps and SRE, cybersecurity, digital transformation, and many more. But once you get certified with GSTC, you just don't walk away with certification. You also become a part of our community, which comes with GSTC membership benefits, including lifelong membership, certification upgrade, workshop, boot camps, learning club access, also the full benefit of GSDC AI Studio, and many more. And we would like to take a moment to to say a thank you to all of our participants who are sharing their feedbacks on LinkedIn, and we are very overwhelmed from getting a positive feedback from all of the participants who are joining into our learning journey, because this shows that GSTC just isn't a certification, it is also a medium who is helping people to transform their life, transform their career, and uphill their skills as well. So thank you so much to everyone for joining into our learning journey and sharing their positive feedback. And these are the vertical in which we do our business. We have four vertical: B2B, direct to professional, retail individual certification, channel to reseller model, authorized training partner, academic institutional partnership, accredited university academic partnership, and B2B, direct to organizations enterprise partnership. So if any of you interested for any partnership for any vertical, or if you would like to know more regarding any of the vertical, please feel free to uh, reach out the person of the spokesperson email ID given onto the slide. I'll be sharing this slide into the chat as well for your convenience. And with that, it's time to welcome our today's speaker. Today we have Binesh with us. If you are following our learning journey, you would be aware that Binesh has already given two or three wonderful and impactful session with us. And on the high demand of the session from our participant, we have asked Binesh to once again come on our platform and share his knowledge. But for those who have joined with us for the first time, let me give you a short introduction of Binesh. Binesh is a seasoned learning and organization development leader with over 2 decades of global experience driving talent transformation across Asia Pacific. As a director at Emerson, he has empowered more than 25,000 professionals across 15 plus countries throughout impactful learning development and innovations. Recognized among Asia's top 25 HR influencers, he is also known for blending business strategies with human centric development. A certified NLP practitioner, Binesh integrates insight from psychology to unlock individual potential and foster meaningful growth. He is also a strong advocate for inclusion, having led initiative to build more equitable workplace. As a sought after speaker, he delivers practical, thought provoking insight across global platforms. And today he is going to lead the session on blended learning delivery models, how to create effective learning environments combining in person and digital tool. But before handing over the virtual mic, just a quick reminder, if you have any query regarding the GSDC initiative or our vertical or the business module, otherwise if you would like to connect with Binesh regarding any query, any guidance, please feel free to use the chat box. Once again, don't be shy. Drop your reactions, emojis, and quick comment into the chat. That's how we know you're with us, actively listening and absorbing from the insightful session. With that, it's time to welcome Binesh on our platform. Thank you so much, Binesh, once again coming on our platform. Very honored to have you here today. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, Pratibha. Thank you so much. And good evening, everyone, or good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. I've dialed in from Singapore, where I'm based, and it is very close to midnight for me. So hopefully, I get to keep up the energy, or I draw on the energy of everyone here in the audience today. So, as Pratibha mentioned, the topic that I have for you is around blended learning. So, allow me to share my screen and let's get started. All right. Let me know once you see it. All right. Perfect. So, as we think about, thank you. I see that you're acknowledging that you see my screen. Wonderful. So that allows us to get started right away. Um, this is a rather long topic that Pratibha mentioned around blended learning, how we can mix in person with virtual, etc. I think the definition of blended learning is fairly straightforward, and you're all familiar with it since most of you are either HR or learning professionals. So I chose to explain the topic saying it is the need of the hour. And as we go through the topic over the next half an hour, 45 minutes or so, I believe you would either tend to agree or share your thoughts around why it is an absolute must and imperative for all of us as learning professionals to make sure that we are adopting the blended learning approach, because our audiences, our participants, the employees that we train, they definitely have started looking for something beyond just the traditional methodologies that we've been used to in the past. So with that, let's get started. So this is a thought that I have as I think about blended learning is that it's not just about combining formats, right? So just because blended learning is something that everyone's talking about doesn't mean that I just mix e-learning and a little bit of instructor-led discussion or instructor-led training and create a blended learning module. I think it's most important to start thinking about your learner in the sense that what is it that our learner truly needs at this point in time. So keeping the learner front and center, keeping your participant, the employee, uh, their needs, their wants, their requirements up front, we we need to provide a mechanism where we can support learning where the work is actually happening. We are no longer, dealing with students in schools or universities where their full-time job is to gain education and knowledge. In the corporate world, in the real world, where you are, empowering employees, they've got a full-time job to do. So how do you make learning available to them when they need it at the best moment? So that's what we are going to be working on over here. uh, the backbone of the development models, and I believe most of you would be familiar with the 70-20-10 approach on learning. It's been around for decades, but the reason I love to anchor in this model as I start any session around development, as I talk to my colleagues in the learning space, is because I think this is the most solid framework that we have till date of what's the best way to look at development, right? So you've got the 70-20-10, where 70% of the learning happens through the individual's own experiences. You can break those experiences down into, what kind of roles are they working on? What's their job assignment? What kind of projects do they work on? Uh, their experience of doing different things. So if someone's always been an individual contributor, they cannot learn people management. They cannot learn to be a manager unless they actually manage people. Or if somebody needs to improve their, say, presentation skills, unless they stand up in front of an audience, unless they start talking in front of a group, there is no way that they can build their presentation skills. So that's just 70%, the actual doing part of it. Then you've got the 20%, which is learning from other people. There are different ways to kind of look at the learning from others model as well. It could be through a formal coaching, it could be through a formal mentoring program, it could be just informal learning from other people, people like your boss, your peers, it sometimes even the people that report to you. You always get to learn from people. I love that saying where they say that, every person that you meet is like a book. There's just so much to learn. The more time you spend with someone, the more conversations you have with different people, you always learn something, right? So learning from others gives you about 20% of your development needs. And then the 10% of the learning actually happens through structured programs. It could be programs like, something like this, where, you have somebody talking to you about a particular topic. It could be you attending a workshop somewhere. It could be taking e-learning, watching a TED talk, a podcast, whatever mode of learning that you choose. Instructional learning is about 10%. Now, the way to kind of look at this 10, 20, and 70% is that you have to look at it in totality, which means going back to my learning presentation skills example, if somebody wants to improve their presentation skills, ideally they should start by taking a class on how to improve presentation skills. So that's your 10%. Right? So you go to a training program where an instructor gives you tips on how to stand, how to speak, how to modulate your voice, the body language, gives you feedback about how you're presenting, etc. So the do's and don'ts, you learn that in the instruction base, the 10%. Then you actually want to do the 70%, which is you want to stand up in front of a group. Every time you get an opportunity, you practice your skill. The more you practice, the better you get at it. That's 70% of your learning. But you also need that 20% in between, which is every time you're standing up in front of an audience and you're presenting, you want someone to be able to give you some feedback. So maybe there's a boss there, a friend, a colleague. After your presentation, they come to you and they tell you, hey, this is what you did well this time. Maybe you should do this differently. Oh, I noticed you had your hands in your pockets all the time when you're speaking. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Any feedback like that. So that's learning from other people. It could also mean you watch other presenters and you learn from them, right? So that's learning from others. In our context, as we think about this framework and we kind of expand this framework in terms of thinking about blended learning, you can explore different modalities that you could use for development in all these three spaces. So more importantly, the 10% space, because that's where the learning or the training essentially happens. So instead of a classroom's, traditional classroom training kind of a setup, I could do modular micro learning journeys. Now, what are modular micro learning journeys? You split the entire learning experience into small chunks of, it could be 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour chunks of different modules so that it's bite size. It's on the go kind of a thing. You don't really have to take out time to go for a class. You're in the middle of something, you want that information immediately, you could just take that small piece of that learning as in that modular format. Hence the micro learning. It could also be virtual or in-person learning experiences that are kind of uh, I'd say helping out, or let's say kind of supporting the modular journey. So I take 5 different modules of those micro learning sessions, and then there is a instructor-led session for half an hour or a day or half a day where we reinforce that learning experience, right? So that's how you kind of blend the two. It could be a virtual or an in-person there. As far as the 20% of our learning from other people is concerned, again, it could be online. I noticed that when we were talking about the GSDC offerings, there's this whole AI coach, AI mentoring. That's something that's really, really catching on these days as well. So with the help of AI, you could have someone provide you feedback on the go all along. So that's your 20% as well, or any structured mentoring programs there. And of course, the experiences, we work on designing those experiences intentionally so that it's not, you just don't throw someone into a job assignment, but it's a very, very calculated, well thought out decision that this is the kind of experience that this individual needs to improve certain competencies or aspects that are going to help them in the long run, that are going to help them with their long-term career aspirations and goals. So learning in the flow of work, that's where it is all rooted. What I was mentioning a little while ago in terms of making learning available to our employees when they need it, while they are in the middle of their work. They're not taking out dedicated time to build skills, but while they're doing their day-to-day things, you kind of blend that learning into their day-to-day tasks. So that's what we call learning in the flow of work. So learning today happens in the flow of work, as well as through formal learning programs. So you've got your formal learning programs that we've always done, but you also have to figure out ways in which you incorporate that learning in the flow of work element. And it can happen through learning from other people. So the 20% piece, right, through peer learning. It could be providing them with the tools, the skills that they need to be able to find their true potential. Oftentimes you'll realize that, your audiences, your employees, your participants, they are not able to, they themselves don't know what they're capable of unless we are able to kind of provide them that platform to explore, to experiment, to understand what they can truly achieve. So that ideally should be our goal as learning providers in an organization or in any context. As a learning professional, our responsibility is to make sure that every individual is able to live to their full potential, is able to contribute to their full potential, to the max that they possibly can. In the process, we also want to make sure that everyone feels that they belong, which means they can be their authentic, true self in the workplace, right? So all these things can happen if you're able to kind of bring that learning on the go, where things are happening for your employees alongside of their day-to-day work. The framework of learning in the flow of work is what you're seeing there in the image over there. So these are the three kind of pillars based on which you need to kind of think about learning in the flow of work. Is it accessible? Which means so for example, let's say you are a manager and you need to give feedback to an employee, right? So you have an employee who has not been performing well. You've set up a meeting with them, and now you want to know what's the best way to provide development feedback to an employee. That's not the time where you can actually look up your training calendar and sign up for a 2-day workshop on how to provide feedback. But can I make it accessible to this individual where at the click of a button, they could watch a 3-minute video on the best ways to give feedback, or do a short e-learning of 5 minutes on how to provide feedback, right? So accessible learning, which is available to them when they need it, the micro learning that we were talking about, right? Is it relevant and engaging? Relevant because that's what they need at that point in time. The same example of when a manager needs to provide feedback. Well, it's very relevant to me at this point in time because I need the skill right this moment. So it's super relevant, right? It's available to me. It's something that I need. So definitely relevant. But it also needs to be engaging. It cannot be a PDF document that I'm expecting the manager to read through and make sense of it. That's not the kind of learning or the blended learning that we want to make available. When we're thinking about learning in the flow of work, it has to be, like I said, a micro learning video, perhaps, a really engaging e-learning module, or, any of those different resources that are available to us today, thanks to the great technology that's available out there. So something that is engaging enough, is relevant for the individual, as and when they need it, they can access it, and in the time of need. So the same example that I was just quoting, right? So as and when they need it, they find the resource, a good engaging resource that will give them that precise skill that they need at that point in time. Think of it as a doctor, where at the moment there is a discomfort, the doctor gives you the medicine that you truly need at this point in time, and it's a magic pill. The moment you pop that medicine, well, your all your pain is elevated and you're feeling better then and there. So that's when all these three kind of coincide, that's your ideal environment for creating learning in the flow of work. How do you build learning in the flow of work? So think of it like this staircase imagery there. You start with the end in mind. So what is the end goal? And that's kind of true for any learning design. You always begin with, what do you want to achieve? What's the purpose of this training, right? What should my learner be able to do at the end of this? So it could be a business goal, it could be a specific skill set, or whatever it is. That's the desired outcome to which you're working towards. In order to get there, well, you have to design it bite-sized. Why bite-sized? Like we said, you don't want them going in for a 3-day program. You want them to get the information when they need it, right? So building those modular, bite-sized learning interventions is where the skill or the true anchor of blended learning truly lies. I can create those bite-sized modules, but if it is not utilized if my employees are not really accessing that resource? It's of no use. So I also need to kind of build a desire for them to access it. That's why there's a lot of marketing that would be required to build that awareness initially. Once people see the usefulness of it, the word of mouth will spread. Once someone has experienced it themselves of how useful it was, they will keep coming back for more of those resources. But initially, to get people to kind of try it out, you need to be able to build that desire. And which is why you want to do all that promotion and internal marketing to help learners take that first step. And in order to do that, you want to make sure that that first step is easy to take. So it could be a short, clip, a video, a 2 minute, a 3 minute thing, which kind of gives them a taste of what this learning could look like. And if it is relevant, if it's in a time of need, I mean, that would be ideal, right? And as you think about the different generations in the workforce today, you got plenty of Gen Zs, or definitely millennials and younger millennials as well. One of the things that the Gen Z and the millennials are very, very used to is this short format of entertainment, right? So you've got your TikTok videos, you've got your reels on Instagram, the 30-second, 60-second kind of, that's the content that they are used to. In that day and age, a 3-day, 4-day learning intervention does not really sit right with those audiences because they're not used to it. They've been I'd say trained on a much shorter format of entertainment or information. So keeping that relevant for that group kind of becomes even more important for us. All right, so as you think about starting with the end in mind, this is one question that you need to kind of ask yourself. What new knowledge and skills are needed for the future of our organization? So your organization, as you think about it, that's your starting point for how to start designing this blended learning journey. Are there any specific new skills, or is there any knowledge gap that you've identified that your organization needs, the people, the leaders, the employees need for your organization to be ready for the future? So I would urge you as HR professionals, as learning professionals, to start thinking on those lines, right? So instead of waiting for the business to come to you with, hey, this is our learning need, or this is the kind of training we are looking for, etc. I think if you truly want to be a strategic partner to the business, you need to start answering this question yourself. You need to start thinking about this yourself in terms of, how do I make my organization future ready? With everything that's going on in the world today, there is so much of uncertainty in so many different ways. Look at the geopolitical situation that's happening globally. Look at technology. Look at the disruption that artificial intelligence is causing in so many different areas in our lives right now. What is it that your organization needs to be ready for this unpredictable future? What skills, what knowledge does your workforce need to have to be able to not only survive, but thrive in this changing, ever-changing, dynamic world? So focus on that. I also have a use case that I want to share with you of something that we did in my organization. So I work for a company which is over 135 years old. We've got presence across the globe. We have over 100,000 employees, about 15,000 people leaders in the organization. We've also had one training program that was like a mandatory workshop for every people leader. So if you are a manager leading other people, we would want you to take this workshop. It was a beautiful course. I facilitated that workshop for several years. I loved that program. It is a 3-day in-person workshop. So we would host it in different cities. People would travel in, facilitators like me would fly into the location. We would book a hotel conference room for 3 days. We'd run the workshop. Very interactive workshop, a lot of different things that we would cover as part of the 3-day leadership training. It would give managers all the skills that they need on how to lead their people, right? So from goal setting to providing feedback to doing performance evaluations to coaching, all kinds of different skills that were essential for a leader to have. We would provide that in that 3-day workshop. They would have ample opportunities to work in groups, to do activities, to practice the skills. In fact, the workshop was so well designed that we actually won an award from ATD, the Association for Talent Development. For those of you who know, it is the world's biggest body when it comes to talent development, right? So we won the ATD award for it in the year 2019, 2020. And it was the award for excellence in practice. That is how great that training program was. However, we also identified certain gaps and challenges with that structure. Remember, I was telling you we have over 20,000 people managers in the company. For everyone to go through this training is next to impossible. You don't have as many certified facilitators to run it. Let's say we go around and certify more people to facilitate this program. There is no guarantee that every facilitator would be able to do a good job, right? So some would do a great job who are experienced, some others maybe not so much. So consistency in the delivery is a bit of a challenge. While the feedback was amazing in most places, there were certain facilitators who didn't have the required skills. So we weren't really seeing that kind of impact there. That was one. Two, the very fact that you have such a large volume of people to kind of take through the program, how many programs can you deliver in a particular year? And even if you were to run, like, say, 20 or 30 different modules, 30 different batches in a year, you would still never be able to touch the entire population that needed that program. So reach was a challenge. Cost, of course, because you're talking about 3 full days where 25 people managers are moving to a certain location. They're engaged in it for 3 full days. So everything, all the incidentals, travel, all kinds of cost, and the cost of them being away from the business for that long, all of that kind of adds up, right? So we had a fair share of challenges with that workshop. So even though it was a wonderful program, very well received, great feedback, an award-winning program, we stopped doing it. And we replaced it with the same contents, but in a different format. And that's the blended learning format that we used. So instead of 3 full days, we kind of spread it into a 6-month journey with micro learning touch points in between. So what you're seeing here let me use this, all right. So, what you're seeing over here, I use these different e-learning, micro learning kind of content pieces, right? So you've got different topics. So hiring and onboarding as a topic. Let me see. Hiring and onboarding as a topic, we'd say, okay, there's e-learning available for it. There's a micro-learning video available for it, which the person can study on their own. We got for feedback and coaching, for listening, or change management, communication, etc. So we got all kinds of different uh, goal setting, so small micro learning journeys kind of embedded here. But this is happening much later in the program. This is month 3, 4, and 5. So essentially, we start off, and hence it's a blended learning approach. So we do it virtually. We get a cohort of same 20, 25 people, but this time we get globally, we can run common cohorts depending on the time zones and whatever works. Quite similar to this particular call that we are on right now. We got people from different parts of the world dialed in together in a particular session. Similarly, we would create a cohort of about 25 people from different parts, different countries, different parts of the world. There would be a facilitator. They would do a welcome. It's an orientation call of sorts where we'll introduce them to what are the different things they will go through, etc. And then you have a 3-hour first session. So this is a virtual instructor-led training where we'll do certain group activities virtually. We'll walk them through what the session is about. They'll do certain exercises on understanding, the role of a people leader, etc. And then these 3 months, they work on self-learning. There is also some drop-in calls that we have designed. Drop-in calls means that, there are touch points. While all this learning happens on their own, there are certain touch points where they all get together on a call for about 45 minutes. They can discuss their learnings, etc. On the 6th month, so we have one virtual instructor-led session over here, and we have one virtual instructor-led session over here towards the end of the journey. This, again, is where we get to interact, do a 3-hour session together, etc. There are group coaching that happens in between, and finally, they kind of, pass out or graduate from the program. So instead of 3 days, we made it a 6-month journey. However, the time actually taken to be a part of this program is essentially much lesser, or at least it's spread in such a way that you're only taking out 3 hours maximum at a stretch, or you're doing these micro learning kind of engagements from time to time, which would probably take about 20 minutes of your time in between. So it's the learner still has a lot more control. So this is an perfect example of blended learning replacing the traditional classroom kind of training that we used to do in the past. Okay. Oops. How do I clear my, hang on. Okay. So learning in the flow of work, just another concept of how to kind of start thinking about learning in the flow of work or thinking about bite-sized learning. If all this information that you want to provide to your people feels too much, the best thing to do is break it down into smaller chunks. That's what we did instead of taking it through 3 full days where you don't know when they actually need that training or that resource. They may or may not remember it. They wouldn't know where to go back for it. Here, when you break it into smaller chunks, those different modules that I was showing you on the previous slide, those modules are always available on demand to the learner. So when they are going to give feedback to someone, they just go in there, look up that module, takes about 10 minutes of their time, and they're ready. They're refreshed. All that information is readily available to them to provide that feedback. So break it down. But one of the things that we know about human beings is you got to make it interesting. You got to make it fun. So not only do you break it down into smaller chunks, you also make it in a format where it's engaging, where it's interesting, that they want to do it. These are the different modalities that we've used for different learner profiles or learner preferences. And this is something that I want you to kind of think about as well as you think about blended learning. Blended learning means there are so many different things that you can do. This is again an example of something that we do in our organization. So I'm just sharing it as a use case with you. Micro-learning videos, we typically do about 3 to 4 minute videos, no longer than that. And that's something that a learner could access on their phone when they are, taking the train somewhere or waiting for their cup of coffee at a restaurant. They could just do the 4 minute video. Available in 14 different languages. So it's not just in English, it's available. So if I have a employee in Japan who is not really as conversant with English, well, they could watch it in Japanese. If I have somebody who wants to watch it in, I don't know, in French, they could do that and so on. We also have e-learning available. Now, e-learning typically is slightly longer duration. We have about 20 minutes. So 18 to 20 minutes is how we kind of design the e-learning, which is again very interactive, available for the learner to kind of navigate through. They could pause in between and come back, etc. Also available in multiple languages. The other thing that we're doing, I mean, besides what you just saw in the leadership program that I was discussing, for a lot of different topics, we have created what we refer to as learning labs. These are instructor-led sessions, but for about 90 minutes on each topic. So it can be delivered virtually, it can be delivered in person. It is a modular format where it's just 90 minutes for one particular topic. So you're not doing a one-day program with 6 different topics. You break it down into 90-minute sessions for each topic, and you make it available in that modular format. So I don't need to take all 6 of the modules. I could just attend the one that is most relevant to me at this point in time. The learning labs offer you an opportunity to practice certain skills, talk to a facilitator, an expert, kind of learn from them along the way as well. And the other resource around that learning that we've designed is called a conversation toolkit, which means you must understand that a manager is your best, tool, resource to train employees. So if you can give your manager with the skills, the resources that they need, give them a toolkit where they can have conversations with their employees and kind of learn or help them learn whatever different skills that you want them to gain, right? So giving that structure of how to have these conversations with employees is what the conversation toolkit kind of provides to people managers. So these are the different blended learning resources that we are using. There could be many others that you could do. I also want to share with you one of the experimental tools that I tried out very recently, and it was a huge hit. Well, okay, start with the end in mind. Ta-da. Oh, I think I did not put that here. So let me just, I also very recently tried out the AI conversation simulation tool. So what it, and there are numerous service providers out there that will help you design those. So you have a AI avatar, which can have a simulated conversation with you about anything that you choose. And for the pilot that I ran, I chose to run a AI simulation on performance discussion. So, we were in that period of the performance cycle where managers were required to provide feedback to their employees. And I thought that was a nice way to kind of practice the skill of giving difficult feedback or having candid performance conversations with your employees. So what we did is designed a AI simulation, conversation simulation avatar, which had different scenarios. So the manager could just do a practice, go in there, and the avatar would have a conversation, very, very real, natural conversation. So if you were to try it 5 times and say different things, the conversation could go 5 different ways. Depending on what you say to the avatar, it would kind of have a different challenge, and you can set the level of difficulty of the conversation, etc. Um, I thought that was a very, very nice way to practice, for people to kind of practice having the conversation before they actually spoke to their employee. So again, another method of blended learning that you could kind of think about is taking help of the AI tools and technology that's available to us now. So yeah, start with the end in mind. Here's my question to you that I want you to kind of start thinking about. What new knowledge and skills are needed for the future of your organization? So I'd really want you to take a moment to think about this and put it in the chat so that we all get some ideas about what are the challenges that we are thinking of. So in your context, for your organization, what new knowledge and skills are needed for the future of your organization? Feel free to put your responses in the chat. AI assisted learning, all right. Thank you for starting us off, Mansoor. Risk analysis, all right. AI. I'm not surprised AI is a popular topic. Okay, credit risk management, project management. And I hope you're also thinking about what would be needed in the immediate future. Any others? Complaint handling, all right. So I'm guessing. Oh yeah, definitely system thinking, emotional intelligence, always relevant. Yes, Brain, for sure. AI, strategic management. Thanks, Barbara. Wonderful. So you can also look at what others are keying in, and you'd see there could be some that you might take back as ideas of, okay, maybe I need to think about this for my organization as well. As you can see, AI seems to be like a recurring theme, and that's pretty much the case wherever you think about, because the kind of disruption that it's going to cause with our workforce is immense. It's already doing that. I'm sure you all got the news about Oracle and Cognizant, was it? So there are quite a few really huge organizations uh, which are making changes with their workforce planning based on their AI adoption. So, all right. Thank you for sharing, everyone. And I'd like to keep a few minutes as an open forum. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas that this presentation has triggered for you, I'd love to hear it from you. So feel free to unmute and share your thoughts.
So, first of all, thank you so much, Manish, for the wonderful and insightful session. Today's learning journey was a roller coaster ride. So, we have all learned a lot. I personally myself have gotten few points into my sleeve for the future. So, thank you so much for that. So, participant, the floor is officially open for question and answer. If you have any query, please feel free to use the chat box. Meanwhile, we do have few questions from the participant of LinkedIn and YouTube. So the first question is, what are some common mistake organizations make when implementing blended learning, and how can they avoid them?
Wonderful. Yeah. And I think that's a very, very fair question because and I kind of alluded to it towards the start. I think don't take the blended learning approach just because you want to do something in the blended learning space, right? So I think the common mistake is is keeping your need of creating blended learning be the driving force of designing something. Instead, what I've been showing repeatedly over here is start with the end in mind, right? So think about what is it that you want to achieve as an outcome of this learning project or intervention, and then design backwards from there. So it's quite possible that maybe you don't need a blended learning approach. Maybe the right thing to do is just a classroom training. Maybe the right thing to do is just an e-learning module. But if you know what is the end goal that you're working towards, then you kind of backtrack from there and see, okay, what are the different skills that would be needed? How are these skills best delivered? Are they best delivered through a discussion in person? Are they best delivered through just watching a short video or whatever? So start with the end in mind, I'd say. All right.
Thank you so much for the amazing answer. So we have next question from Prem. Sir, I have a doubt. How good is bootcamp type learning? I mean, sometimes when we spread the learning for 5 months, there is potential risk is getting diluted and disconnected.
Very, very true, Prem. I fully agree, and we have seen that risk happen as well. So in the use case that I was sharing, that is something that we have noticed. Uh, Learning gets diluted is one thing. The participants could drop off, get caught up in some other things along the way. So yes, if you it is a lot more effective if you get 20 people in a room and keep them in the room for 3 days and you kind of drill whatever knowledge information you want to share with them. You have a captive audience, definitely a lot more effective in terms of the download. But remember, the goal is not the download, the goal is the application. And if you're thinking about application, you have to make it learning in the flow of work, make the learning available as in when there is the time of need, right? So for that, you have to have that access to the modular information as and when they need it. There are pros and cons to both sides, as we clearly understand now. So I agree, there is a possibility of the learning getting diluted, of the learner getting distracted, getting caught up in other things along the way. That's a risk we should figure out how to kind of address. If the learning is engaging enough, though, and which is why you saw that one chart where he said that you break it up, but you also kind of make it fun so that you draw your learner back from time to time. All right.
Thank you so much for the insightful answer. So, we have next question. How do you see emerging technologies like AI, immersive learning, AR, VR, or learning experience platform shaping the future of learning and development industry?
It's impacting us already, and it will continue to impact us in a very good way, I would say. The example that I was just sharing about the AI based conversation simulation tool that I tried out, I think that that's something that we could not have done in the absence of this technology existing, right? And it is, imagine being able to have a conversation with an AI and practice your conversation skills. In the old context, right, when you are doing a classroom training, the only thing you can do is a role play. And when you do a role play, it's only the people who are participating in the role play who get to experience this. Also, you don't really get as detailed the feedback for your role play experience. Imagine an AI tool that allows you to do these role plays as many times as you like, give you very, very detailed, structured, individualized feedback, things that a trainer would definitely miss out on, but the AI captures. You've got AI coaches right now. You've got, all kinds of uh, VR tools available where it's as realistic. You could especially when you're doing technical training, having a VR tool to kind of practically work on certain things hands on. I think the opportunities to learn using these tools and integrating these tools is just immense. We're very, very exciting times for us.
Thank you so much for the detailed and thoughtful answer. So, participant, as we are running out of the time, so we'll have a last question and then we'll be moving forward to the closing. So, the last question we have, Vinesh, that what are the key principle organizations should follow when designing an effective blended learning model rather than just combining online and offline formats?
I think that's
Uh,
a simple answer would be, what is the learning outcome that you hope to achieve, right? Keeping that end in mind. So that's your guiding principle. What does your learner need? What will benefit my learner the most? How can I support my learner? And how can I support my learner in the flow of work? Can I not disrupt their working and still provide them with the learning that they need? I think if we use that as a guiding principle, we can design really effective learning interventions for our people.
Thank you so much for the amazing answer. So, participant, as I said, that we are running out of the time. So, this was our last question of the day. But I'm sharing Dinesh's LinkedIn ID into the chat box so that you can connect with him directly for any kind of query, any kind of guidance. I'm sure he would be happy to help you out, right, Manish?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Would love to.
So, Vinesh, thank you so much once again for coming on our platform. We had a blast in your session today and looking forward to having in the future session as well. I know it's very late night at your place, so not keeping you and participant for a long time. Let me just quickly wrap up this session. So just allow me a minute to share my screen. So, participant, if you are ready to get certified into the learning and development in any of the category you would like, please check out our website. The certifications are available. We are also giving a complimentary coupon code to all of our participants for obtaining the certification, which will give you 20% off. So, if you're ready to get certified, check out our website, check out the category you want into the learning and development. Use the coupon code link, get 20% off, and get certified. So before wrapping up the session, I just wanted to make a quick announcement regarding the utility tool. So if you're on your job hunting journey, then this tool is for you. What you have to do, if you have to log in into utility tool by using your LinkedIn ID and password, and it will give you a recommendation according to the job designation you're targeting and the industry you're targeting, and it will re-improvise your LinkedIn profile, stand out your resume in front of the HRs and recruiters. To make your job hunting journey a little bit easier, a help from the GSDC that we are giving a complimentary coupon code to all of our participants, which will give you 100% off for using this tool. So, if you're on your job hunting journey, I would strongly recommend you to taking the help of utility tool. Use the coupon code link which I've just shared into the chat box. Get 100% off and stand out, make your resume attractive to the HRs and recruiters. Also, all the best to all of the job hunters out there. So, as this today was the last day of our learning and development webinar series, and from Monday we are going to start the new series of learning and development that is shaping workforce agility and strategic growth. So, I'm hoping to see you all in Monday as well. This is going to be happen on the same time from 6th April to 10th April at 10:30 a.m. Central Daylight Time, 11:30 p.m. Singapore time, 9 p.m. Indian time, and 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The registrations are open. You can check out our website, get yourself registered. We have added a lot of new topics and a very amazing expert panel for you who are going to deliver the incredible sessions. So I'm hoping to see you all on Monday as well for the new series of learning and development webinar. And as the AI series has also ended, and we are going to start a new series into the AI, that is Enterprise AI at Scale, Reliability, Security, and Performance. So, if you're AI enthusiastic people, then this webinar is for you. This is going to be conducted at 6th April to 10th April at 8:30 a.m. Central Daylight Time, 9:30 p.m. Singapore time, 7 p.m. Indian time, and 9:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. As well as ISO Leadership Reset series has also ended, and we are going to start a new series on governing AI with ISO 42001 from policy to practice. So if you're an ISO enthusiastic people, then this webinar is for you. This is also going to be conducted from 6th April to 10th April at 9:30 a.m. Central Daylight Time, 10:30 p.m. Singapore time, 8 p.m. Indian time, and 10:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So, we are going to have a learning and development enterprise panel discussion, which is going to happen on 21st April and 5th May. Yes, we were about to have a panel discussion on 7th April as well, as announced before. But due to some plan of changes, we have like postponed that panel discussion date, and we are starting the panel discussion from 21st April. I'm hoping to see you all in that panel discussion round, because we are bringing expertise from the different backgrounds to share their POV on the lined up topic. So on 21st April, we are going to have panel discussion on building future ready organizations throughout strategic learning and workforce transformation from the beyond training domain. So check out our website and get yourself registered for the panel discussion. And this is going to be happen at 10:30 a.m. Central Daylight Time, 11:30 p.m. Singapore time, 9 p.m. Indian time, and 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. With that, it's time to celebrate our referral champions. We have Bhanu Durgesh, Oluvaga, and V. Venkatesh. Special thanks to all three of you for helping us amplify our initiative and reach it to the wider global audience. So, if you would like to be, you can also become one of our knowledge professional and advisors. What you have to do, if any of your peers, colleagues, and professional wants to join for this webinar or any other webinar, refer the registration link which you will find on our website. What's in it for you? You will get a referral for your every reference. And once you hit a 50 referral point, you will be able to get a free $400 worth gift certification voucher. But this offer is available for a very short time of period, so make sure you're taking the advantage of it and become one of our knowledge professionals and advisors. We would love to have you in our community. Also, if you would like to be speaker for learning capsules, webinar, and podcast for AI, L&D, and ISO, otherwise any other domain, we would love to have you here with us. You can reach out at pratibha@gsdccouncil.org and preetham@gsdccouncil.org. So these are the platform where you guys can connect with us. Our LinkedIn profile, our WhatsApp group, our YouTube channel, our official Insta channel, Twitter channel, as well as Pinterest channel. So many of you always ask regarding the about the recording session, if you want to revisit the session given by our expert, or if you have missed, if you have joined into half, or you want to listen, you want to gain the complete knowledge of the session. So what you can do, you can check out our YouTube, because we upload every session recording over there, and you can find the session, like find whatever the session you want to see, and then you can gain the knowledge from over there. So I would really suggest you to get connected with on our YouTube platform for that. So I am sharing you the link and the scanner code as well. So if you are not able to uh, even if you're not able to scan the scanner code, you can use the link to connect with us. So just allow me a minute for sharing this. My system is little bit acting up, so just allow me a minute. Okay, here you go. So I hope you're all able to see the link as well as the screenshot of the slide where all the QR code is available to scan. So do connect with on all of the platform for staying updated regarding our upcoming events and trend. Also, do share your session key takeaways and learning outcomes on reviews.io. We would love to know what most resonated with you. What are your session key takeaways? Also, if you have any feedbacks and suggestions, because your feedbacks and suggestions help us improving our program and make your learning journey even more engaging, dynamic, and insightful. With that, it's time to come to event end. Thank you so much once again, Vinesh, for coming on our platform. We had a blast in your session today. We got a lot of key learning point to use in our professional journey, even I have gotten some insight to use in my personal journey as well. So thank you so much for that. I'm sure our participants have learned a lot today. And thank you so much to all of the participants into joining our learning journey and sharing your feedbacks and insight on LinkedIn's and reviews.io. We really enjoy your feedbacks. We really enjoy your suggestions. So keep sharing that because that helps us improving our program. And I'm hoping to see you all on Monday as well. Till then, keep learning, keep energizing. Have a good day, good night, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and a happy weekend to all of you. Thank you so much, everyone.